Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem. All praises and honor unto the only true power, Yahawah, Hashem Yahushai. Come. And we know the heathen worship idols, but we worship the living power. Come. Right? So we thank the Most High for allowing us to be here today in this great Shabbat day, keeping, the memorial of creation. Every time you're here on Shabbat day, is to remember two things. One is to remember that in 6 days he made all things and rested the Shabbat day. So you're basically giving him credit for creating you and everything. You are showing that you are grateful for all the works he has made, and particularly giving you life. Come. The second thing you need to remember, the Shabbat day is also given as a sign to the Israelites. Okay, that we should remember that we are peculiar people. Come. So every time you keep Shabbat day, it should remind you that you are special people in the eyes of the Most High. Come. Always, man. Okay, it should always remind you that the same sign of creation is put on you. What does that mean? That means you are the boss of creation. Come. You need to know that. A lot of you, I say, we can. I hear we can, man. Give me a good can. Come. Come. That's right, man. That's what we need. When the same sign of creation is put upon you, that means if the sign of a house is put upon me, that means that house belongs to me. The sign of creation is put upon us. That means we are the heir of Adam. Just like Adam was made Lord over everything, the Most High have made us Lord over the whole earth. A lot of you might not have, we have that. We can't because we don't know that yet. But in the coming days, you're going to know. Right? You're going to know. And as we're waking up, you see what's going on in the world. Because the world is about to have new ownership. Come. As we moving closer to the time of a Mashiach. And as you can see, the wicked is becoming more wicked. The righteous is finding his righteous feet. And you see how the world is going. Is it time? Okay. So you that hold, as the Apostle Paul said, you that have 1 foot out, put all your feet on the same path. Because Mashiach coming quickly, man. Okay? It's coming quickly. So let's get to our lesson today. It's trust in the Most High process. Trust in the Most High process. All right. So get me Ephesians 6 and 10, as we always do, to open up. Trust in the Most High process. Trust in the Most High process. Ephesians 6, verse 10. And we greet all our brethren from wherever you may be. We salute you in the name of Yahawah, Hashem Yahushai. This is ministry, GYC ministry. GYC meaning gathering Yahweh's children. This is our focus is to gather the lost sheep of Israel. Mainly on this side of the world, the so-called blacks and Hispanics, so-called Latinos, but also our people on the other side of the world that are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. All right, and we greet you. All right, let's get to it. Ephesians 6 and 10.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 6 and verse 10.
Bring it out.
Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of Yahawah, that he may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of Yahawah, that he may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand.
Right, so the weapons, as the scriptures say, are not carnal, but those are spiritual, meaning things that enrich your spirit. Right? So those weapons are all these words, and particularly this word we are about to give you today. So you may be able to withstand. The stronger you get in your spirit, less likely that one day you're not gonna no longer show up. That Satan done got you. The more you put the word in, the more, the Most High, will hold you, and the more you'll be able to resist the devil. So now, let's get to our lesson. Is trust in the Most High process. Okay, so coming from the church system, okay, what we were taught faith was in the Most High is not at all what we realize it is. Okay, in Christianity, what we thought faith was, okay, I do miracles. I touch your head, you fall down. Or I pray for you, and then it shows I got faith in the Most High. But showing that you got faith in the Most High is not miracles. It's not when you're able to perform miracles. It is a sign, though, that you do have faith. But essentially, faith is not miracles. Right? Because the word faith comes from which word? The word faith comes from which word? Faithful, right? We got faithful, right? Or let's say the adjective of faith is faithful, right? So when we Alright, so the word faithful means to be what? One brother. What does the word faithful mean? When they say a man is faithful to his wife, or the wife is faithful to her husband, loyal. That's the key. Being faithful is about, it's to be loyal to the Most High. And it's to be loyal to the Most High no matter what situation and circumstances. And this is exactly, by the time we finish with that lesson, you're going to realize that, what we thought faith was essentially is not at all what it is. Okay? And also, we will teach you how to better perform, the Most High will. Basically, let the Most High use you to perform miracles and do all these things. Because the way we do things now is not right. Let me begin with saying that there's one sister that died, and we were praying that the sister should live, right? But she ended up dying anyway. Right? We thought the Most High would save her because we pray, right? But that's where, like when we coming from Christianity, if we pray for somebody and they don't get healed, we get disappointed. We thought, wait a minute. Whatever I ask in His name, I should get, right? But there's a lot to consider with the Most High, especially what we are about to teach you today. All right, get me. Okay, so get me Matthew 6 verse 9. Let's open up with that. So we will teach you how to better exercise your faith in the Most High. Alright? Because what you were taught was trash, was garbage. You were not taught how to trust the Most High properly. You were not taught what faith was really about. You were taught that faith was just miracles. I put my hand on somebody. If they don't get healed, that means I don't have faith. If they're healed, that means you got faith. But that's not really what faith is in the scriptures. We're going to show you. Get me Matthew 6 verse 9. And you need to understand how the Most High works. Okay? How to go about it to receive what you need. And when you ask the Most High so He can answer you. Okay?
The book of Matthew chapter 6 and verse 9.
Read.
It says, after this manner therefore pray ye, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done.
Thy what?
Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
Right, so you need to realize, you must understand. Everything the Most High do, it's according to what? His will. It's what He wants to do. It's not what you want. This is where the difference between how we know faith now and what we know back then. Back then we tried to impose our will on the Most High. We tried to tell the Most High what to do. And we thought that was faith. But the Bible says His will be done. It's not your will. It's not what you want. Sometimes what we want is not what the Most High wants. Our will is not the will of the Most High. So what we try to do is try to impose and force the Most High to take action when we don't even know what the Most High wants. Forgetting that everything is according to His will. Alright? So first of all, a lot of these prayers we make is wrong. Like example, you go to someone's house who's sick and you say in the name of JJ, right, as we used to say back then, or as a Hebrew, in the name of Mashiach, I want you to be healed, right? But is that what the Most High wants? Do the Most High want that person to be healed during that time? Or you want that person to be healed? Did the Most High, did you have this urge in the spirit to tell that person that? Or is that you trying to show off, or you trying to, because you think the Most High wants you to heal that person? That's why we need to be extremely careful when it comes to faith, so you don't become disappointed. Because if the Most High don't send you, you can't go. If the Spirit of the Most High don't urge you, you shouldn't be doing anything. That's why you got a lot of Christians. Like the sister was saying earlier, if some Christian come to pray with her sick grandma, every time they pray, they say, "Are you feeling better?" Every time they say one line, "Are you feeling better?" What about that?
Try one more time. You feel better?
Okay, let's try it again.
Try it.
What about that?
Okay.
How's that?
We didn't pray like this, let's pray that way. God, please heal her.
Father God.
Father God, in the name of JJ, we believe you that you can do it. You check now?
How's that kid doing? Any better? So a lot of times we end up being disappointed. You know why? Because we're not asking the Most High, what do you want me to do? Before we go somewhere or we go pray for someone, you need to know what the Most High will is. Turn the sound off from the take the incense up. Alright. So before we start doing things, we need to understand the will of the Most High. And there's another thing, get me John 9:31. That we need to understand before you start even praying for somebody or for yourself and start asking for things. You need to be aware of that. Alright?
John 9, verse 31.
Read.
Now we know that the Most High heareth not sinners.
He doesn't hear what?
The Most High heareth not sinners. But if any man be a worshipper of the Most High and doeth His will, him He heareth.
So the Most High say He doesn't hear sinners. What is a sinner? Is someone who's not keeping His laws and His commandments. So no wonder you got a lot of Christians going to pray for somebody and nothing happening. Why? Because, well, let's just say a sinner don't understand the Most High will. What is the Most High will? Get me Psalm 40:7. Let me show you what the Most High will is. And we're going to explain further why the Most High cannot hear someone that do or doesn't respond. Or He responds, but they can't even get His response. Right? We're gonna explain further. Read that, right?
The book of Psalm, chapter 40, in verse 7. Then said I, Lo, I come in the volume of this book.
So the Bible said the Most High come in the volume of the book. Read.
It is written of me.
It is what?
It is written of me.
Read.
I delight to do thy will, O Most High. Yea, thy law is within my heart.
I delight to do thy will, but thy law is within my heart. So what is the will of the Most High? Is what? Is what? I can't hear nobody. Is what? Is thy law. Thy law is within my heart. So if you are a sinner, you're not keeping his laws, it will always seem like the Most High is not answering your prayer. Why? Because the Bible says come in the volume of the book. You understand what that means? A lot of times the answer isn't the book. He's speaking to you through the book. But let's say you go to a sinner and the sinner is sick, right? And they've been eating a lot of shrimp lately. And you come with the book. The Most High is answering the prayer and they're saying, Lord, please heal me, right? And you come with the book, with the answer. And you say, look, do not eat swan flesh. Do not eat shrimp. Because according to scripture, that's going to make you sick. That's the answer to the prayer, though. Because, you know, what we thought back then, faith was miracle. We thought the only way the Most High can answer is to magically make something happen. But you don't know. You can be sick and the Most High send you the solution. Maybe something you're doing wrong. This is why you sick. So you tell the brother, look, eating shrimp is what gives you cancer, right? And the Most High sent that brother to tell you, stop eating shrimp. And you'll get another chance. But guess what they say? God's law is done away with. So how you gonna be healed when instruction is sent to you? It's like you go to the doctor and the doctor said, well, you eating wrong. This is why that's happening to you. But that's the doctor. Like I remember that brother. He went to the doctor said, look man, you gotta stop eating rice. Because this put your blood cholesterol and everything. Jack, your expenses. Doctor, I was born in a part of Haiti where I was raised with rice. I was born with rice. You know, rice actually grew me and raised me. Rice is my family. Then next time you went, the doctor said, well, actually you're gonna die if you don't stop. Then he called my mom. Sister, they say I'm gonna die. Well, listen. Sometimes the answer to your prayer is not miracle, it's instruction. So if the Most High tells you not to, that's why the Most High cannot listen to a sinner. A sinner will not listen. Okay? The sinner, like in Christianity, what we used to think, it's miracles. Everything is miracles. Okay? But remember, every sickness comes with what? With what? With sin. That's why most of the people that sin, the Most High say, go and sin no more. Right? Because it's a reason why you did. That's why you end up doing that. So that's the first thing you need to understand. Before you go pray praying is free. You need to know, am I doing the will of the Most High? Am I keeping His laws? Why am I jacked up? Why the Most High is not listening to me? Did I break a commandment? And then set yourself right. Right? Set yourself right. All right. So now, thy will be done. The Most High said, it's all about His will. So sometimes, as we said earlier, we fail to ask God, what's your plan for the situation? I'm sick. Oh yeah. Don't say, yeah, heal me, please. Okay? Say, don't. In fact, a lot of times some people say, well, according to your own good will, heal me, right? Sound good. But me, I would advise you, as the Most High, what do you want me to do? What is the plan for that sickness? Because some sickness is for you to learn. It's for you to go through a process. If you get healed right now, you won't get a chance to go through that process. I remember when my dad died, that's not a bad thing, But I realized after he died, we matured. We had to become the men of the house. We had to take the extra responsibility, and that really quickly matured us to the level that we are right now. If he was in a certain burden, we'd be like, we got it done, he take care of it. So we might think, the best thing for us is to have our dads alive, but maybe if he was alive, we'd still be little babies. We'll still not take our responsibilities. So there you have it. In every situation, there's a reason why the Most High do it the way he does it. And the way he does it is the best one. So you need to trust the Most High. You need to trust the process. Alright? Let's keep going. So get me Hebrews 11 verse 1. The book of Hebrews 11 verse 1. Because a lot of the time when we approach the Most High, we approach him like he owes us something. We approach him like he must give us something.
Hebrews chapter 11 verse 1.
Read.
Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen.
It's something that you hope for. What is hope is a wish. You wish that to happen. But hope doesn't mean it must happen. Right? So do not approach the Most High with a high-minded. You're asking the Most High something like he owes you. Because he may answer you when you are hoping something. He may have it, he may not have it. Okay? That's the first thing you know. And also, you need to understand what faith is not. Faith is not your expectation. It's not what you expect to happen. It's what the Most High expects to happen. Yes, you have the right to ask the Most High for something, but it's up to the Most High to answer the way he wants to answer. It's the same way if you go to your father and ask him for something, you cannot, your earthly father, you cannot tell him that's the way you want, you gotta give it to him. So faith is not your own expectation. Faith is not like Burger King, the way you like it. That's gonna set the groundwork for you to understand how faith operates. It's not how you like it. Alright? You're not gonna receive it the way you like it. And faith doesn't mean miracle. It doesn't mean a miracle. So keep that in mind. Those three things is very crucial. Faith is not your expectation. Faith is not how you like it. And faith is not miracles. Because we try to undo the Christianity in you. Christianity in you told you, look, if you pray the Most High, it should happen. And it should happen pronto. And when it doesn't happen, guess what happens? We all disappointed. In my experience, a lot of the people that I used to go to church with, if they got someone that's sick, the person's not healed yet, they don't receive it the way they want it, in the time frame they want it. For man, then people go, they're all the way voodoo, man. For they're voodoo priestess. Because they had some kind of expectation.
Right. They want the Most High. They come to the Most High like the Most High owe them something.
Yeah.
You cannot come to the Most High like the Most High owe you anything. Because if even the breath you have is the one that gave it to you. You didn't pay for that. You understand? You got to think about that. When you come to him, that it will be done. If he wants to. Because you never purchase anything that he gave you.
Understand? He do you a lot of favor. He give you arms and legs and everything. And food and everything.
And even that, the only thing he asks you to do is to keep his commandment. You don't even keep his
You don't even keep it for your own good.
For your own good. Right. You see?
So, get me Isaiah 55 verse 8.
Isaiah chapter 55 and verse 8. It says, for my thoughts are not your thoughts. Neither are your ways my ways, sift the other ones.
So the Most High say, my thought is not yours. The way I think, the way I take things is not the way you think. That's why some people say, man, God acts too long. 55 a day.
There is a time. There is no time limits when it comes to the Most High. The Most High does things when He wants to, not how you want to, but when He wants to, according to His way, to His will. And when we ask Him, this is how we should ask: the Lord, if it is Your will that You will give me this. Understand? Because He didn't give Him nothing to hold for you. He don't owe you anything. You have to say, God, if it is Your will, please give me this. If you think it's gonna be good for me, give me this.
Right, so that's where we had the Most High said, my thought is not your thought, your way is not mine. So the question we were asking is, do you know what you want? Do you know what you need? A lot of times what you think you want is not really what you want. Right? You might think right now I need a car, but you don't have a license. You don't know how to drive.
You said you need a car. It may not be the right time for you. Right? Because either you may have a job that paying you $12 an hour and you get a car note that way over the limit that you ended up sacrificing yourself just to pay the car.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people, we jacked up because we have not learned to wait on the Most High. Right? We have not learned how faith operates. So without the Most High, without asking the Most High, we just go ahead and go get a car because we want a car. But you cannot afford it yet. Because we cannot wait for the Most High to process, for the process to work. We in a rush to do our own things. We don't even consult the Most High. This is why we fail in life, because we don't consult the Most High. Our foreparents, before they do anything, they will consult the Most High. We got Isaac and Rebecca, they asked the Most High for a son. Then when their sons were fighting, they go ask the Most High why they're fighting. We always consult the Most High to know what His will is. Right? But we don't just decide and do what we want to. Because at the end of the day, yes, you can ask the Most High something, but He's gonna answer you in the order it was received. Meaning He's gonna answer you how He wants to answer you, in His own time frame. And the time frame that He answers you is the best time frame for you.
You may call Him, and your phone may went to voicemail.
Did we live there since?
You may call Him, and your phone may went your phone may went straight to voicemail because He's not available to pick your phone call right now.
Right.
Because you're not ready for it.
Right? So in every situation, don't think it's evil. You know, sometimes we bought out. Sometimes you may have a flat tire. Well, actually, let me give you a better example. There's a man, he used to work at World Trade Center. But he's a so-called Christian, but I can still give the example. But he's the kind of guy though, like whatever happened, he always says the will of the Most High. And one day, he worked at World Trade Center, and one day, you know, his car wouldn't start. That day, the World Trade Center fell down. He was explaining, my car wouldn't start. He's like, man, I keep trying. Then he said, well, it's the Most High will. But finally, he got some help, and the car started. And as he was on his way, they sent the alert, World Trade Center had been hit. And he walked on the upper floor exactly where the airplane hit. He would make it. And all his co-workers died. You see, but how many of you couldn't go to work in the morning? You think, oh, that's an evil thing. You see, basically, women, we don't know what's evil, what's good. What we think is evil sometimes is actually good. What we think is good sometimes is actually evil. So do men really know what's good for them? For you, what's good for you is that you just get your car and drive and go to work, everything easy. but the Most High say, my thought is not your thought, my way is not your way. So make that cost that. Because if if you drive that car, man, that happens so many times, especially with car problems. You know, my car would stop, and then when I really check closer, I see something was terribly wrong. You never know. If you took that highway, what would have happened? Maybe while you have someone check, it's like, oh man, all your tires, nuts, man, they were coming out.
Most I had to stop the car.
And a lot of times you'll be cursing the most.
Oh yeah.
Why? I'm late.
It's like your job is more important than your life.
But you don't know why. Because a lot of times the Most High save our, spare our lives. We don't know what would have happened.
Even when we're cursing him.
Yeah. He's a fool. You know, because you don't know the plan. You don't know how the day. Because there's certain operations the angel of the Most High is doing on the road, killing people and doing all kind of jacked up stuff. He wants to, he's like, okay, I'm about to do an operation. You know, the righteous one, make sure you keep them away from this road. Do something. Because this road today, I'm about to kill 50 people. Right? A lot of you think the Lord don't kill. Get me that verse. You know what I want? A lot of you like, God killed. He got angels doing operations. You won't know. What do you think happened when there's one car that flipped and like 50 cars follow? There's a whole pile of cars.
95.
You think it's not the Most High operations? Everything is under Most High control. Right? A lot of you are afraid to die, but you can die at home. I've heard of a lady, a car get inside of her house while she's sleeping and drop on top of the roof, come collapse inside. Now how do you even die? How do you have a car accident in your house? Explain that to me.
And there's a video one person was showing me that a guy walked in with a woman from a right side, far distance. The tire run like got up from a truck.
It's beyond math.
It's run and was doing his own mathematical way, tracing their own way to get to the guy and hit the guy. The guy died right on the spot.
Yeah. It's pure math. The entire way you know, it's like, okay, by this step he's walking.
Yep.
He's gonna reach that side.
Calculate
his
step.
I gotta go and meet the
right. It's just like when you shoot in the bullet. If you're a person that know how to shoot, if you are at a distance, because you consider the velocity of the bullet and how it goes, you have to shoot it at an angle for the bullet to hit the target. You understand?
Like, even if they're running.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. You see? So don't be afraid. But sometimes the Most High is sparing our lives. That's why in everything, man, when you wake up, everything that happened, we need to learn to tell the Most High thank you. Yeah. It's okay. It seems to be evil, but it's not at all. There's no evil with the Most High. You guys understand that, huh? Listen, I'm going to say that again. There's no evil with the Most High. Right? Get that, then get me Romans 8:31. I'm going to show you.
1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 6. The Lord killeth and maketh alive.
The Lord what?
The Lord killeth and maketh alive.
Right, so a lot of people say, don't kill. I just wanted to show you. Read that.
The Lord killeth and make alive.
Read.
He bringeth down to the grave and bring it up. The Lord make poor, make rich. He bring low and lift it up.
Right, you see that? The Most High bring low, He bring high, He make you poor, He make rich. He has control of the situation. Some people gotta be poor, some people gotta be rich. Some people gotta live, some people gotta die. Now a lot of you probably lost a parent, you're like, why did the Lord kill them? Maybe you should go ahead and ask Him why. Instead of complaining. And sometimes it's after, if you really pay attention to your life, you'll realize after that person died, something really changed. I become a new person. Or my prayer was answered, because sometimes for the Most High to answer your prayer, you know there's some people you gotta remove from your life, right? Now you might not agree with that. You might not come to you ask the Most High for something, but the Most High said, listen, as long as that person is there, that person cannot receive what they want.
I'll take it away from you.
I'll take that person away. Sometimes not dead, but that person may break up with you.
They leave you.
Right? So let's say you ask the Most High, Lord, I want to get the kingdom. Well, for him to get you the kingdom, there's someone in your life that he has to take away from you. Because with that person, you will not get no kingdom. Because that person is the devil the Bible speaks of. They will not let you get the kingdom.
They prevent it.
But when the Most High want to take that person away, the same you who wanted the kingdom, all of a sudden you no longer want the kingdom. You're like, no, Lord, don't take them away. You cry.
I love her. I love her.
I love her. You see, but it's to show you that we having that lesson so you understand how the Most High operates. So we stop crying when we ask for something, then things start things, I'm not saying going south, but when things start changing, so you don't start crying. You need to understand this is the Most High will. And this is the way He's using, this is by which way He's going through to give you what you need. You need to accept it. Right? You need to accept it. Alright. That being said. So, I call the verse, right? Actually, Romans 8:31.
Romans, the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 31. Romans 8:31. What shall we say then? No. What shall we then say to these things? If the Most High be for us, who can be against us?
Right, read on.
He that spared not his own son, but delivered him up for us all, how shall he not with him also freely give us all things?
Right. Let me get that right.
So, in other words, the Most High says, if He Himself, He gave His only begotten Son to us, what about us? What do you think that if you ask Him something that He cannot give it to you, He cannot provide it to you? You understand? Because His only Son He had, He gave it to you just to save your life. So do you think that for a little thing like a car, like a house, that you want to ask Him for, or like a wife or a husband you want to ask Him for, that He cannot provide it to you? His only Son, He gave it to you. He already showed you that how far He can go just to give you something that would save your life. Understand?
Right, so He's willing to give you anything.
Right.
And if the Most High is for you, nothing is against you. What does that mean? Like, there is no evil against you, really. The evil is in your imagination.
Right.
There's only one power. There's only one power. You need to understand that. So what you feel is evil, right? You feel bad things will happen to you. But what I'm saying is, what you consider bad things to the Most High, that's right. It's His own knowing. It's either for you to learn from it, but either way, you're gonna benefit from what happens to you.
You see something, just like the scripture says on Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. It says faith is something that you hope for. Okay? The evidence of things not seen. If I were to ask, have we ever seen Satan? You never see Satan, right? But why do we fear Satan? Do you see where I'm coming from? Why do you fear Satan? Something that you don't see, you fear, right? But compared to the Most High says, faith is the evidence of things not seen. So meaning that He gave you the guarantee that you don't have to see Him for Him to do things for you. And you already know, based on the things that He's created, you already see His work. So why should you believe on Him? Right. And Satan don't create anything. You fear Satan more than you fear the Most High. Right. You know more about Satan than you know about the Most High.
The Most High said there is one power.
Right.
So basically what I'm trying to say, nothing is really against you. what you think is against you is actually for you, especially if you serve the Most High.
Right.
Especially if you are applying His commandments and precepts. Trust me. It's nothing is for your own demise. It's nothing to destroy you. It's not going to destroy you. Trust the Most High. It's not going to destroy you.
As we said, trust the process.
It's not for your worst. You lose your job, trust me, it's not for your worst. I remember I lost my job in August 2019. Bam, December, Corona hit. They fired everybody. By that time, I was already set.
You could have been one of the ones.
Man, like everybody was gone.
Yeah.
Then the rest was like 4 hours a week. But meanwhile, I was taken care of. One day, same thing happened to my mother. You know, Haiti was about to go under a U.S. embargo, and that's the same time they let her go from her job. And she ended up finding a job deep in the countryside, and they imposed the embargo. Guess what happened? They fired every teacher. And when she got to the countryside, there was no school, but the school was still paying their teachers. The whole time during the embargo. They were still paying them monthly while there were no schools. But the old school, they fired everybody because they could not afford it. You see what happens? But to her, that would be about, why did you fire me? God, I'm working with you, I pray you, but you let them fire. Be quiet. You understand? Shh.
Trust me.
Let the Most High do His work, man. That's what, give the Most High room, give Him space to work.
He knows what He's doing.
He knows why He got this. Just shh.
And it's funny you say that. There is a sister that the Most High made her, like the Most High been showing her so much sign. She had into so many accidents. And the Most High always get to save her. To show her, listen man, you gotta serve me. And she ended up finding a job that's paying her a good month. I talked to her about the Shabbat. She said, no, I have to work to provide for myself. I said, before you wasn't working, and the Most High was still taking care of you. Why make you think that because you're making money now, you think that you gotta provide for yourself? Do you control for your life? If you sick right now, would your job still keep you? They're not gonna find somebody else to replace you.
So you really think it's you that provide for you?
Exactly. You really think that you can do something for yourself?
So after the Most High provide the job, now He stopped providing.
So He stopped providing for you. I'm like, listen.
But that's how people are. That's how people are. After the Most High give Israel all things, they wax fat and cake, and they forget the rest.
Wax fat and cake. Yeah, that's all.
That's what we do. But here's the thing. Before we exercising our faith, so first of all, for you to take control of your life, you know first you need to know what's best for you.
Right.
But a lot of time, what you think is best for you, trust me, it's not best for you. And they said, what you want to, our dream is that we need to have a house. Like our dream as Israelites is that we take over the whole world. But can we take over the whole world right now? Can we rule the world right? Do we have the discipline?
We'll mess it up in not even 30 seconds. Not even, don't give and take, not even 30 seconds we'll mess it up.
Do we have the wisdom yet? Right? You see? So the Most High cannot give you something if you're not ready for it. So we ourselves don't know what's best for us. The second thing is, I gave an example earlier. It's about my car accident. I thought to me, I always really the Most High not to get in a car accident. But when I got in a car accident, that actually propelled me to get a better car. So don't go around and be telling the Most High what to do. That's what we don't want to. So now when I pray the Most High in the morning, I don't say, don't let the cops stop me, don't let me have car accidents. I don't say that. I say, Most High, let your will be done. That's how it's supposed to be. It's simple. I don't have to do all that prayer because honestly, I don't know what I want. I don't know what's good. After I had the car accident, I realized, you know what? If the Most High could when doing the car accident, man, I'm like, oh my Lord, what am I going to do? That's my only business car. I ain't got no job. I got kids. I got mouth to feed. They're like them little birds on the nest, waiting for you to feed.
Feed me.
Feed me. And they don't know your problems. They don't care.
Put food at the table.
Yeah, that's what they care about. So I was stressed. But after the most I changed, after the accident, and I got it, I replaced the car. The car was replaced with a better one. With actually one with AC, because the old one didn't have AC, and the Lord did see my vision. I was fine, man. Especially in that summer, boy.
Like every day.
And the crazy thing is, with those kind of cars, when they have no AC, it's hot.
Especially if it's raining.
If it's raining, it like, listen.
You get foggy. The windows get foggy.
It gets foggy.
Well, you can't even see yourself in the car.
Sun is not good for you, rain is not good for you.
No season.
It's a no season stuff. You see? But at first I was stressed out, but when the most I replaced the car, I was like, okay, that was the plan, huh? So since that time, I never prayed for that. I'm like, the most I let your will be done.
But not only that, He blessed you with that, but He gives you the wisdom to know.
Wisdom to understand.
To understand. Listen, the fact that I had only one car, now I got to add another one to it as a backup.
Yeah, a lot of wisdom came out of that. So don't ever tell the most I don't let evil happen to me. Because you don't know what is evil. Honestly, we don't know what is evil. And you know what? The only thing we know that's evil is what the Most High tells us that's evil. Right? That what the instructions give us. But other daily life things that happen, you have no control over this stuff. You don't know if it's evil or not. Especially if you're working with the Most High, it's not evil. Trust me. You understand? It's just you're going through a stage, you're going through some changes, and you will come out of the tunnel and you'll see another side.
And another thing to add, what seems to be evil in our hearts may not be evil to the Most High. Because the Most High make good and He create the wrong. He kill it and He make it alive. So you just gotta trust His process. Sometimes He may make you do something crazy just to show you something else. But it may seem evil for you for what you've done, but you didn't know if you didn't go through that process, you would never reach your destination or reach your destiny wherever the Most High wanted you.
As you mentioned, if you say the Most High changed who I am, I want to become better. What you think? How that's gonna look like? The Most High gonna like we watch too much TV. You think in your sleep the Most High miracles? Oh, you wake up. Oh, I'm a new person.
Yeah.
No, the Most High don't work like that. For the Most High, the minute you say, Lord, I want to become a better person, the Most High analyze. How do I make that person a better person? Scan, Lord. It's like, oh, for him to become a better person, okay, he need to change that. And for him to change that, I need to put him through that. Right? And after he comes through that, then I'm going to do that next to him. I'm gonna give him 7 stages, of things to happen to him for him to become better. But the minute the first stage come, oh Lord, I no longer want to be a better person.
But another thing too, I'm gonna give you one of the best examples. You may be in your own house with your own wife or your husband. You say, Lord, I want to change. I want to become a better person. Next thing you know, your wife start talking about the same problem that the Most High knows that you have, that He wants you to change for. And or the husband may do the same thing. And then you be like, man, I don't want to be with that person. I don't want to be with that, but you don't trust that the Most High is the one to put that person in your life.
Yeah.
Understand? To change something in you.
Yeah. It will change you. So don't expect it's not a miracle. Alright? So first of all, and also when we talk about performing miracles, praying for somebody, for you to even pray for that person, you need to, do you know why they're sick? Do you know if they did something to the Most High? Because if they did something to the Most High and you pray for that person, they'll never get better. If the Most High say, look, I'm going to put them to a stage for them to become better, you can pray all you want. They're not going to be better. Let's say the Most High already destined that person to die, right? Because you see that if they leave the next day, something even worse, they're gonna kill their children or something, right? And you go and say, Lord, please heal them, or don't let them die, right? So you think the Most High should listen to you or do His will, right? Let Him do His will. Because we got parents that kill all their children. Was it better that they died before that happened? Not only they kill all their children, now they're gonna kill them too. Right? So you see, but He's the Most High willing everything. Because the Most High got the master book in front of Him, He's got everybody's lives, and He see what's best for that person.
You may be pregnant, 9 months, carry a baby, the end of you giving birth, the baby died.
Right.
But you didn't know, oh man, you didn't used to be a person who drank alcohol so much, become a wine bieber, okay? You a drunkard. But the Most High wanted you to see, okay, listen, if you keep on doing this, you will never have any children. Because he's gonna kill you at some time. You understand? But it's everything the Most High does, it does for a reason.
So it's always best to ask the Most High, why did that happen?
Right.
I know it's your will, but enlighten me. But don't curse Him out. Don't murmur, don't complain, don't be disappointed. Oh, I'm serving the Lord for 30 years. Look at what happened. I lost my wife. Listen, man. It can happen. It can happen. And there's a valid reason why it happens. Right? It's either for your sins, for judgment, or for your best. Either way, you're going to learn something.
You learn something.
You're going to learn something.
So that the next one who comes in your life, you know how to do it.
Either way, you'll be better.
What it is.
Either way, you'll be better. Right? So, another thing too, that's why we should let Yah lead, because we don't know why. That's why before someone call you and say, sister, can you pray with me? So, hold on, sister, let me go consult the Most High first. I'm not going to start praying with you until I know why. Let me go inquire of the Most High myself, if I should even pray for you. Because sometimes you pray the Most High says, don't even waste your time. It's not going to be. Because there's one time the Most High said, Jeremiah was praying for Israel, the Most High said, don't waste your prayer for Jeremiah. They're going to captivity.
Proverbs 28 verse 9.
He said, don't pray for these wicked people. Trust me. Don't even waste your time. Because sometimes you're going to pray for someone, the Lord said, don't even waste your time. That person, they're not going to be healed. I don't have no plan. They're not going to leave. They're going to die. And if you trust the Most High enough to go ask Him one, He's going to reveal to you. He's going to do some signs, because it's not only a dream or you hear a voice. Sometimes you're reading something, it's like you come across the same thing you're praying about. Or someone says something, it's like, wait a minute, that's like an answer to, or you're reading something, or it comes to, the Most High will show you a sign that should I or should I not?
Happened to me multiple times. I could be dealing with something, and the next thing I pick up my phone, this is the first thing I see.
Yeah.
The situation that I'm actually leaving is what I've seen in my phone.
Pay attention to all your environment.
And I'm like,
after you finish praying, pay attention to everything. Even when you're watching TV, you'll be surprised someone says something like, wait a minute, am I dreaming? Why is this talking about my situation? Or you can even come here, a lot of times that's another problem. You can hear a message from the congregation, you're like, they're talking about me. That's me.
They know my problem.
I don't know your problem, sister. I don't know your problem, brother. The Most High just revealing it. Maybe you should just listen and pay attention. And that's where your answer is. Because sometimes, another thing too, with the Most High answering your prayer, it doesn't have to be a miracle. It's the same thing. Sometimes you hear a sign. Sometimes He sends somebody to tell you about it. Pay attention after you're done praying. Right? So, but in all things, let the Most High take the lead. Don't be telling the Most High what to do. Alright? Don't be like, man, that's how I want, that's when I want it now. It's not your money, you don't want it now. Okay? That's not how it works. So get me Romans 9 verse 13.
Book of Romans chapter 9 verse 13.
Read.
As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated.
Can you put the babies down? Right? Read that again.
As it is written, Jacob have I loved,
read,
but Esau have I hated.
Read on.
What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with the Most High?
What we're going to say? Is the Most High unrighteous because he hated Esau and loved Jacob? Because you see, that's why a lot of Christians confused when we put this verse. Because God should not be hated. Right? So if God come in America today, they'll probably charge him with hate crimes.
And when they find out that God do hate,
they're all bumbles. They're all confused.
I'm not serving that God.
Yeah, because God shouldn't be hated. But you can hate, God can hate. You're more important than God. Read on. So God said, is there unrighteousness with God because he hate one and love one? Read.
The Most High forbid.
The Most High what?
The Most High forbid.
There's no unrighteousness with the Most High. Read on.
For he said to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy.
You see that?
And I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion.
Meaning I decide to do whatever I want to do. So basically, praying the Most High, tell him what you want to do is not what, it's really what he wants to do.
It's not happening. If you're telling him what you want for yourself.
So he said, I'll have mercy. Some people I will kill. Some people I'll heal them. Some people you can pray for them till you turn blue. That's why you get disappointed. They still die. Because the Most High have no plan for them to live. Read on.
So then, it is not of him that willeth, not of him that runneth,
read,
but of the Most High that showeth mercy.
Of who?
Of the Most High that showeth mercy.
So it's not of you that run or will, or when they say run, could be running your mouth. And they said keep praying and keep talking and keep asking, keep commending the Most High to do things. But it's all up to the Most High. Read on.
For the scripture said unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might shew my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth.
Right. So he rose Pharaoh, he gave him power, he gave him strength, he gave him a great army, great intelligence, just to make Pharaoh great, so he can collapse Pharaoh. Then what you're going to say, well, there's unrighteousness, but keep reading though. Let's see if there's unrighteousness.
Therefore, have he mercy on whom he will have mercy, and whom he will be, and whom will he harden. Thou wilt say then unto me, why does he yet find fault? For who hath resisted his will?
Right. Why he find fault? Then why is he gonna judge people if he's the one that actually raised them to do those things? Read on.
Nay, but O man, who art thou that replies against the Most High?
Right.
Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus?
Right. So can if you make a part or a robot, the robot shouldn't be like, why do you make me thus? The Most High make you for his own gain. He make you for his own pleasure. Did you ask the Most High to be born? No, that's what I did. That means he made you for his own pleasure. He made you for his own. Let's say when you create a game, like for gamers, you can put how many zombies you want in the game. Yeah. Someone can say, why you put so many zombies? We in Romans 9 right now.
We on verse 18.
Okay, read on.
Now in verse 19, it says, Thou wilt say then unto me, why do ye yet find fault? For who hath resisted his will? Nay, but O man, who art thou that replies against the Most High? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus? Hath not the potter power over the clay.
The potter have power over the clay. Read.
Of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor.
Right. So the same man that make nice plates for you to eat, you also make a toilet bowl. Right? So can the toilet bowl say, why you make me like that? No. Can the plate he made this for honor? Some plates, some things you use is for dishonor. So the Most High, he does his will in everybody. It's however he wants. It's not however you want. But that's the thing with Christianity. I think the Most High is a puppet that they could serve him however they want. Or he should be whatever they feel God should be. You know, God is the biggest entity in the universe. He actually has the choice above everybody. If you have a choice to choose what color to wear this morning, then trust me, you got way more choice. So what Christian, in their mind, God shouldn't have no choice. God should be a loving God. He should be a God that do whatever I want. Like, although I go to club, still love me, God. Don't choose a nation, choose everybody. I want you to choose everybody. If you can't choose everybody, I don't serve you. You got a puppet. That's not your God, that's your puppet. You know? But now we understand how the Most High works. When it comes to faith, you need to trust His process. Proverbs 3:6. Book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 6.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 3, and verse 6.
Go ahead.
Proverbs 3, verse 6. It says, in all thy ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct thy path.
Right. In all thy ways, acknowledge Him. You see that? Read that again. I want that to get in our brain.
In all thy ways, acknowledge Him, and He shall direct thy path.
The word acknowledge comes from the word knowledge, meaning know that He's here. Like, don't ignore. Don't be like, oh, I'm taking my own decisions. Because when you take your own decisions, you don't invite Him. That's where you make the bad decision. Because in your mind, okay, I'm just going to buy a house. But you didn't tell the Most High. You didn't. How do we consult the Most High? It's two ways. We pray and we go in the Bible. I'm going to get a wife. But what does the Bible say about you getting a wife? The Bible says try them first. This is how you acknowledge Him. Then you follow the scripture, you follow the guide, and you acknowledge Him. And the second thing, you pray about it. Right? But most of the time we make mistakes because we don't acknowledge the Most High. We get a wife, the Most High never, gave you any signs. Or the Most High never gave you any go ahead. Next thing the Most High heard, you and our wife, you got married. Then when your wife or your husband turned to be the devil, the Bible speaks of, you calling Brother Ishak, pray for me, brother. Too late. They got you. Right? Or the minute that's when now you're seeking the Lord when things start going wrong. The Bible said all your way, not in some. Before you travel, before you drive to work, before you buy a car, before you buy a house, right? Before you buy anything, if possible, and it's not too small for the Most High. You'll be surprised in the smallest things. You can tell the Most High, please help me choose the right one. Even before you buy a battery, you can say, the Lord, help me choose the battery that's good. You'll be surprised how the Most High will help you. Come. Yeah, you may think, oh, that's too small. I don't have to ask the Lord. But you choose a wrong battery, now you lose your money. Right? But the Most High could have helped you. While you can see inside of the battery and know if it's good. But if you tell the Lord, help me choose a body that's good so I don't waste my money. Trust me, He will lead you to the right path. So He said, all thy ways. There's no small, there's no great. Huh? Right? In all your way, acknowledge Him. So that requires a level of trust. Right? How do you trust the Most High? After you pray, by example, you see things start changing. The minute you ask the Most High for a house, things start getting worse. Is your prayer getting answered? You might be like, how is that? Well, changes are happening. If you want to be a better man, a better husband, then things start happening. All of a sudden, your husband becomes worse, as the brother bring out, or your wife becomes worse, and you're like, oh my Lord, I thought I asked you to change that person. They're worse, far worse. You understand? Now you think that's bad, that's evil, but you don't know. For sometimes for the Most High to change you, He got to put you to the limit. He got to push you to the limit. But when things are worse, we think that's evil. Then we back down.
Test your patience, how faithful you are to Him. Understand?
If the Most High don't keep pushing you to the limit, you're not gonna change the problem you have in.
Still gonna continue to have?
If the Most High, to you, the Most High, you want the Most High to change you by magical means, but it's not gonna happen.
I'll tell you something. I think I was talking to a sister one day, and I told her, I told her that every person you have in your life, like for the Most High, you put a wife in your side or put a husband by your side. I said that to this. I said, every person you have in your life is because the Most High sees something in you that the person can actually help you change that, or it's vice versa. Because that's why do you have? Let's take an example. Why do you have a lot of time you have discussions and disagreement in relationship? Either way, the Most High is doing this change.
Right.
But sometimes you may not see it. It may be something in you. I'm sure the way you used to live when you was in your house, in your home, when you live with someone, you don't live that way anymore. Why? Because you become a new person. You change it. That person is causing the change in you.
The effects.
The effects.
Now, let me tell you, if you pray for change, you need to accept change. I must say that again. If you pray for change, you need to accept change. And it's not your change. It's the Most High change. Right? Because I know his sister, and she go through hell. So a lot of things she go through. You understand? But that's the process. At the end of the day, by example, if there's a bad influence in your life, right? And the Most High intend to remove that bad influence, do you know things have to get worse for that person to go? Oh yeah. Check this out. If things can get better, you know that person will never leave you, right? But he's a bad influence. So the Lord got to make him act out more. So he can find a reason to leave. But when he's acting more, you're like, oh Lord, he's worse. Or she's worse, oh my Lord, why is that? But you just pray the Most High, please save me from that oppressive person. Do something, help me. But the Most High see the best way to help you, that person need to go. Gotta go. They need to go. But the Most High, when you think things are getting worse, I say things are getting better. It's getting better. It's just like, it just got better.
Hey, listen, man. There is no, you may cry today, but you will not cry tomorrow. Or you will not spend the rest of your life crying. You gotta understand, crying is a temporary cry. So whatever things you go through in life is temporary things. Because the Most High have to make you go through something for you to get what He thinks is really best for you.
What you ask for. Sometimes what you ask for is a process. Because I'm going to tell you something. The minute you ask the Most High for something, the Most High is at work. You might not see it, but things start happening. You're like, what the? Yeah, that's not what I asked for. But that's exactly what you asked for. Because you don't know what you asked for, but for the Most High to give you what you asked for, He has to take you from Egypt, go to the desert, make you go through stuff, then bring you to the promised land. That's how faith works. You cannot just expect, when Moses said, Israel, I'm going to take you to the promised land, they're like, yeah, the Lord come to save us, right? They're like, we're going to be in no time in the promised land. 40 years later, they're like, man, we want to go back to Egypt.
The first time, the Most High opened the sea. Everything looking good.
Yeah, it was good. And the
walking, seeing fish, taking fish. I'm going to cook this. Everything is all right. Get to the wilderness. Heat.
No water.
No water. This I complain. Oh, I wish I was back in Egypt. But the Most High just saved you from bondage.
You were crying.
You were crying every day.
The thing is, we as humans, this is something with us. This is something with human being in general. You see, a man can say, I want to be wealthy right now. It's all good in his mind, but he never think about the process to get the wealth. So when that wealth is going to be, it's okay. Our mind always mislead us. It always make us think everything will be easy, but it's not true. Right? Like me, like the way I'm working right now, the kind of work I already put on paper, like every week I gotta make $1,000, right? That's my goal. But bro, it's not easy. I work hard. I come home late. It's not easy. But on paper, that sounds so nice. 1,000 a week. That's in 4 weeks, man. That's 4,000.
I tried it.
I could. It's not just so it's not.
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
There's no success without sacrifice.
It can't happen. It can't happen. It's impossible. And the road the Most High is taking you to answer your prayer is always the same way. Right? Most of the time. Sometimes you're easy, the Most High says, okay, let me give him that right away. No problem. I don't see any obstacle. Like I check here, it's possible for him to get that. It's not all the time though. When you pray the Most High, because we all witness that. Sometimes, for example, the car I got, when I pray the Most High, everything come in place and I got it right away. Sometimes the Most High just wants you to ask him, things go easy. But some things, before he gives it to you, he needs to make sure you go through a process. Because he don't want to give you something then lose it. He don't want to ruin his reputation. Oh Lord, I asked you for the wife. You gave me sign this is the right wife. Now she did. Now she's the devil, the Bible speaks of. You understand? No, he's gonna give you something good, but he have to put you through a process. Right? So get me Ecclesiastes 2 verse 1 through 15. Go over that. She broke my heart. He broke my heart. But one thing for sure, man, don't take your own decision. And all your ways acknowledge him.
Right? Trust in him.
Trust in him. And it's hard, brothers. We're talking right now, but it's when the challenges come to see how stressful you are. Yeah. You're like, oh Lord, okay. But you see, sometimes the Most High has been working with you for so long. For so long, it's like you asked him for a house 10 years ago. Since 10 years, he's been working with you. He's been making changes. He's been moving pieces.
Because your life was like a piece of work.
Right, it's a piece of work. You need to get there, but he's been working with you. But that whole time, you've been stressing him out.
Yeah.
Lord, oh my Lord.
I'm not gonna serve this God no more.
No, sometimes we do, but it's like, am I ever gonna get that house? I have to go do all this.
It's like a keep going to his father back.
But one thing I realized, man, after, for the Most High, if you look back in your life, for the Most High to bring you to this point, you realize, man, it's been quite a hell of a road.
So many tests.
It's like, man, when I look back in my life, man, the near-death experiences, what I went through, humiliation, whatever, what people did to me, and all that, do you know all those things that happened in your life make you who you are today? They shape your character. You went through hell in your grave, that's what it is. All these that happened to you make you that person you are today. If that didn't happen, you wouldn't be that person.
I remember this week just passed. I was driving, coming from work. Driving a truck. Mind you, I'm driving a truck. He got another car, a little sedan car. He waits, the person waits when I have the right of way to drive, right? I'm driving on the road. And that person was staying on the side. When I would almost get to them and they jump in front of me and stop. Literally stop. And I'm driving a big old truck. And I'm like, listen, for some reason, I just like this. I'm like, I didn't even know how did that happen. I thought I was going to hit the person.
How you miss it?
I'm like, how did I miss that one? But this is how the Most High worked mysteriously. And the car didn't even touch. And I look at the car, I'm like, did I hit it? Just like that. But the more, in life, you can't really attend what's going to happen to you. The Most High decides whenever He wants to and how He wants His things to go. But you just got to trust the process. I got to put the camera on, as we said. Maybe I think that's the reason. And I did talk about that one.
I learned my lesson, man.
I did.
My car's fully stocked with camera. You hit me.
Yep.
Because I learned my lessons. It's always something you gotta learn. But me, I don't like to learn the hard way. Yeah, I remember my brother got an accident that same day. I run to every spot to get a camera.
Hey, He took the sacrifice for you.
Oh yeah, I mean, listen, because there's a verse that says, the righteous behold the house. I'm not saying the brother, but it's something. He said the house, the righteous behold other people's house, and he fix himself. Meaning when you see something happen to somebody, you might think it's a lesson for him, but it could be a lesson for you too. You know, I run, I got the camera. You hit me, you on there, servant. Right? So read that Ecclesiastes 2 verse 1 and 15.
Just gotta trust in the Most High. Ecclesiastes?
Yeah. So the Most High is like your GPS, man. The Most High is your GPS. He's guiding you. Follow His direction. Like you can't be going to Orlando or something and you put your GPS and you decide to go your own route.
Exit to Tampa.
What you doing, man? The Most High is gonna be leading you. Just follow His way. Don't do your own things. Don't be like, man, He haven't answered. And sometimes the Most High is answering you. You don't even know if the work is being done. You just don't know. Because sometimes some background work's got to be done before He answers. That's why some prayers take longer, because some background work's got to be done. Right? But trust me, it's, you know, like when someone is building a house, sometimes the house looks like it doesn't make sense. What is it doing? Like when you start building it, it's like, it don't look like nothing. When the house is done, it's like, oh, that's what He was doing. That's beautiful. That's how the Most High works. When He's doing work with you, it seems like out of order. It's like it doesn't make sense. But when He's done with you, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I see. That's how it works with the Most High. Read that out.
Ecclesiastes chapter 2 verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation.
Do what?
Prepare thy soul for temptation.
Prepare your soul for temptation. And read.
Set thy heart aright, and constantly endure.
Do what?
And constantly endure.
In time of calamity, constantly endure. Because if the Most High gonna reshape you, because like in Christianity, they tell you, man, come here so we can convert you to Christianity. They pray over you like you've been converted. That's not what conversion is. Conversion is a whole process of changing who you were to make you who you are now. Yep. So if you come to serve the Most High will remold you. And many people, they start coming to this truth. When the Most High start remolding them, they'll fall off. Because they can't take the heat.
Because let me tell you something.
They think it's for evil. They perceive that things are happening by random.
Yeah.
But they don't know that's the Most High doing. Nothing happens by random.
How will the Most High even trust you to do anything for you if you can't even take a little simple test?
Exactly.
You come to, you said, oh, I want to serve the Lord. But you want everything to go good for you. But you know, the Most High said, Israel is my son. And he said, because Israel is a nation that loves to sin. But the Most High says, for me to have Israel, I got to sacrifice my own son. And now, the Most High can receive Israel. It's a process. Everything there's a sacrifice to it.
Right.
You know, you got to go through the sacrifice to make the sacrifice to gain what you need.
And an honorable mention for verse is Matthew 5, 13 and continue. Matthew 5 verse 1 and continue, 5 and continue. Where it says, happy are you when men persecute you. It's like, and people are like, why would I be happy? Well, those things are happening when they persecute you is for a reason. Absolutely. It's to reshape your mind. It's to push you closer to the Most High. A lot of people, that's what I said earlier, a lot of people think when bad things happening, they call it evil. No, it's not evil, it's actually good. It just started. Your salvation just started. The Most High, when you see evil is happening to you, that means the Most High is working on you. Come? He's working on you.
The path to success is never a straight path. It's a zigzag path. Understand? You will never see a path to success. It's like everything went straight for you. Never happened like that.
I remember I was watching that cartoon. It's popular Israelite cartoon. They fired him at his job. He went to his car, stopped crying. Then you remember the scripture that said, blessed are they that are persecuted for the kingdom. Then he stopped laughing. That's okay too. You know, no, because we need to remember, like, there's no evil. Put that in your mind. I want you to live with that in your mind. There's nothing really against you. What you think is against you is for you. It's just in your mind. Right? I think one of those things Right. Read on though. So the Most High say, man, listen, you know, constantly endure. Right? Endure. But men, whenever we see things we perceive to be bad, you know, we run away from the Most High. Right? Read on that.
It says, set thy heart aright and constantly endure and make not haste in time of trouble.
Don't make haste, man. Don't be in a hurry. Don't be Lord, deliver me right now. Save me right now. Don't tell the Most High, hey, let your will be done. Whatever I'm going through, I know it's for my good. Trust me. This is where I'm talking about. Trust the Most High. Trust the Most High, saying, trust me. I got you. I will put you through this, but it's for your good. Don't worry about it. Is your husband giving you a problem? Don't worry. What do you want me to do for you? I want you to change my situation. But, as I said, the only thing, guys, if you pray for change, you gotta accept it. The change you might want might not be the ideal or what you wanted. But trust the Most High is the best thing for you. Process. Trust it. Even if the Most High take your husband away, your wife away, your house away, your car away, that's the best thing for you. And if you think you know better, go do your own thing to see if you're not gonna fail. Right?
And when you fail, you're gonna fail big time.
Big time.
And you will never get back up again until you learn the lesson.
Because you gotta understand this. Think about life. It's like a bunch of steps. You gotta pass this step before you can get to the other step. You cannot skip one. It's the same thing as problem will go through in life. You gotta solve it. Problem won't go away until you solve it. It's gonna circle back and come back around to you. Either way you want it.
Read on. Let's try to wrap it up.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 3, 4, 2. Okay. It says, there we go.
Yeah, come.
Like 1, 2, 3. 1 second.
I don't think it's that.
1, 2. Like 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Alright. Almost. It's finished. Says, says, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate.
You see that? The Most High said, be patient when you're changing a low estate. Meaning, yes, you're an Israelite, you can become homeless. You know that, right? The Lord can really take you to homeless like you lose everything. Now, some people may even say he's cursed. Or he did something to God. Like, look at him, he's an Israelite. Look at how poor it is. I told you don't go to that Hebrew stuff. Now look at him. They eat all his money.
He's been sinning.
Right?
Yeah.
Your own people, Israelite, can say, yeah, that's God's judgment.
Yeah. Both sides.
They got him, man.
And they're gonna say, bro.
Well, people will talk. But one thing you need to know, though, you need to trust the Most High. To your low estate, there is a reason why. If it's not judgment, but I always say that. Always praise the Most High to have mercy on you. When you do wrong. Recognize you're wrong, fix yourself, and wait for the Most High. That's all you gotta do. As soon as I know I'm not sinning against the Most High, even if I'm brought in the low estate, I'm not okay. Let me be patient. Because you can be brought to a low estate. Right? So it's not, low estate is not only for those that don't worship the Most High. Job lost everything. You can lose everything one day, but trust the Most High. That's your valley of the shadow of death. Read on that.
It says, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity.
You see that? The Most High try you just like gold in fire, in furnace. But you need to be patient. Read on.
Believe in him and he will help thee.
Do what?
Believe in him and he will help thee.
Right. So that believe in him is not what we were told in Christianity. Or I just believe in the Lord. No, that means you trust the process. Because we know Christians don't believe. As soon as something won't happen, then they find solution outside of the Most High. They're not gonna keep enduring. You understand? Especially my old churches, man. As soon as there's something sick, they pray, invite everybody, nothing happened. Well, I might not go, but I gotta send someone to look for me. They send them to the voodoo priest, man. You know, I ain't gonna let them eat my son like that. I'm gonna see what the voodoo people say. That's what exactly the same thing Saul did, man. After Saul taking away every witchcraft out of the land, he had problems. He go look for the last witch and say, I wanna see Prophet Samuel. You know, so that when you do that, that shows you don't believe in the Most High, right? Because sometimes the Most High is testing you. He's waiting. He's keeping. And one thing I gotta say, don't put a time frame on when the Most High gonna answer you. Right? Don't say, man, he has to answer. Don't expect him to answer you in 3 months, in 6 months. Your will be done. Because we've had many times, Israel was in captivity for 400 years. Joseph was in prison for 2 years. You see that? How many of you would lose hope? He didn't do nothing wrong. He went to prison. How many of people would say, man, yeah, he wicked? That's God's judgment upon him. Right? That's the Most High judgment. But Joseph was righteous. After 2 years, you see how weird the Most High work had? How the Most High gonna bring Joseph to power? He had to bring him to the bottom. Check this out. They sold him. This man went through hell, being a servant, being a prisoner. Then the Most High take him. Oh, he went to power. It's like, how is that? Why do you make that way with me? Why you go through that way?
It's like when the stock goes up.
Bro, that thing is like a whole roller coaster, man. Think about it, brothers and sisters. How the Most High take Joseph, being his father's favorite. His brother sell him. He become a servant. He went to prison. How lower can you get? Then from prison, guess what happened? So, then Joseph, what kind of weird ways is the one that took me? But when he's looking back, he's like, I went through all that, then look at me now.
The Most High made him went through all those things. But one thing he learned when his brothers come to him, he didn't try to revenge against them.
No, he already knew.
He already knew that was the Most High process.
And it's funny, if you pay attention, before you go through a process, the Most High will give you dreams. He will show you. Don't know, you might not pay attention. But sometimes, especially those people that serve him, before Joseph went through all that roller coaster, Joseph had the dream.
He had the dream. He went to the father.
He had the dream. That's how his life would go. And they would come bow down before him.
The father didn't understand the dream too as well.
Right. But a lot of time for you too. Before you go through a roller coaster, the Most High will show you a dream. But a lot of time the Most High say, I speak one and twice, men don't hearken.
Right.
They don't understand what I'm trying to tell you. He give you a warning. Before that, you're gonna go through some stuff. And the same thing. But you see how the road Joseph, the Most High work in mysterious ways. How Joseph, it's a living example. But at the end, because the Most High brought Joseph so low, he bring him really high. That's the same thing for you. If you want to get to that power, man, sometimes you're going to get humiliated. You're going to get sick. You're going to lose everything. You're going to be falsely accused. The main thing we want to do is always to remain righteous. As long as you remain righteous, wait for the Most High. That's all you got to do. Don't complain. And the Most High hate people that complain. Because he's going to lead you on the way if you keep complaining. If you keep complaining, he shows you don't trust him. If you keep stressing out and be like, oh man, why is this happening? Why, Lord? You can't serve. Then it shows you don't trust the Most High. Trusting the Most High requires complete trust. Complete life. Whatever happens to me, it's in your hand, Father. That's it. Right? Last verse to actually, you're not going to have to read it. We said it earlier. It's Jeremiah 29:11. It says, I know the plan I've made for you. Plan to give you peace in the future. Brothers and sisters, the Most High ways can be weird. He can lead you to the valley of the shadow of death. David never said he won't lead you to the valley of the shadow of death. He will lead you. But he said, I will be with you though. Don't worry about it. Faith required to trust the process.
Psalms 37 verse 25, the same thing. Never let the righteous forsaken.
Right. Trust the process. He will lead, he'll take you home. But for him to take you home, he needs to take you to the desert first. On that, brothers and sisters, trust in the Most High. May the Most High bless all of you. I imagine La Palim Yarushim. Stand and face you.
Yahawah,
Hashem,
Hashem,
Hamashiach,
Hamashiach,
Yahushai,
Yahushai,
Lanatan lanu,
Lanatan
Wayom,
Vayom,
Hashabbat,
Hashabbat,
Bashalom,
Shalom,
Borak,
Barak,
Yisrael,
Yisrael,
Salat,
Salat,
Yisrael,
Yisrael,
Todah,
Todah,
Amen.
Amen.
All praises to the Most High for giving us this lesson, reminding us to trust Him, not as we were taught is only miracles, but we now learn to trust, to wait on Him, to also trust Him in time of tribulation, knowing that we have faith in His process and His way of doing things. We've learned to rest assured, even though the day is dark, that it cannot always be night. That one day the day will show, the dawn will show. We thank you, Most High, for this lesson. Keep it in our mind, in our hearts, in time of trouble. For this is the time we'll need these messages the most, is when trouble comes. For oftentimes when trouble comes, we forget what we learned. We forget who we are. We forget the messages. But this one, oh yeah, do us a favor. Keep it in our heart, according to your own good will. Keep it in our mind. For all these things you give us, you have not given them to those people that don't trust you. But you give it to us so you can utilize us better. So we can be used better, and that we may operate those things you want us to do, knowing your will. Above all, O Most High, teach us your will. Teach us what you want us to do. Lead us. We don't know nothing. We're just following you, Yahweh. Our will, our lives, our mind, our hearts is all in your hand. Lead us according to your own good will. You took us from low, just like you did for our community. You took us from a storage. You took us from very low. Now we start seeing your ways to what we do. And we glorify your name because we understand now how you work and how you operate. So, oh yeah, we ready. Use our body. We ready. Our mind is open. Our heart is open. That you may use us according to your own good will. That we may do what you want us to do, not what we want to do, but inspire us, lead us, guide us, that we may follow you and trust, no matter what, no matter the storm, that we may learn to trust in the Most High to lead us to the right path. Praise thy name, Yahweh. We ask all these things in the name of our Mashiach Yahushai, toward the Amen. Shabbat Shalom Israel.
Shabbat Shalom Yahawah. Barak Hashem Israel. Hallelujah Hashem Yahweh. Shabbat Shalom Israel. Shabbat Shalom Yahawah. Hallelujah. Barak Hashem Israel. Hallelujah Hashem Yahweh.
It's been a long time in Asian's land, where there is no love for the Hebrews. My enemies hate me without cause in this place. Oh yeah, I am ready to go back home. 400 years of oppression, century days are better than enough. But you said the kingdom belongs to us. Oh yeah, I'm ready to go home. It's been a long, long time. It's been a long time. Oh, where there is no love for the Hebrews.
soul. But you are my stronghold, my life is complete. But you are my stronghold, my life is complete. But you are my stronghold, my life is complete. But you are my stronghold, my life is complete. Yahweh, Yahweh, the enemy wants to bring me down. Oh, Yahweh, Yahweh, the enemy wants upon my enemies. They watching me, they always do no wrong, cause she's hiding this. They watching me, they always do no wrong, cause she's hiding this. But you are my stronghold, but you are my stronghold, my life is dying. But you are my stronghold, my life is dying. But you are my stronghold, my life is dying. But you are my stronghold, my life is dying. But you are my stronghold, my life is dying. But you are my stronghold, my life is dying. Yahweh, Yahweh, children blood I found in the street. Yahweh, Yahweh, children blood I found in the street. That's the peace, but that's the peace when she wasn't there to bring me to the ground. Wasn't there, that's the peace when she wasn't there to bring me to the ground. But you are my stronghold, but you are my stronghold, but you are my stronghold, but you are my
Hallelujah. Who's the power? All praises to the Most High Hashem Yahushua. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining GYC online. The Most High continues to bless you and keep you. Enjoy the rest of your day and the Shabbat day. Remember your commitment donations always appreciated. Thank you. The